What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Thanks for rocking with me on another video. Today we have more LS content. Finally, we got some shiny stuff in the mail today, and like a week, 2 weeks ago, something like that. So as you can see, we got the oil draining. I'm gonna have to pull the filter. So I'll get the parts that we got today. We'll get them up on the table, we'll get them unboxed, and I'll show you what we got. It's so thick. First box. You already know. Nice collector. O2 bungs already welded there. Both. Nice set of stainless headers. The passenger side, I already test fitted these while the motor was in the car. The passenger side fits really well, but if I run these, then I have to eliminate my steering column shifter, because they get along pretty well. If I run these headers, I'll have to get a floor mount shifter for the car, and I'm not really sure. Plus, with these headers, because they're block huggers, I'm going to have to do some trimming on the bell housing of the 700 R4, and I'm just not really sure that I want to go that route, so I may end up ordering another set just to kind of get them away from the block a little bit, so I can retain the steering column shifter and all that stuff. That way I don't have to make a bunch of, I don't know, modifications and cut holes in the floor and all that stupid shit. Now, this is the reason that I'm draining that oil anyway. A whole bunch of bolts and a plug for the oil return housing, I'm assuming. Here's our new pickup tube. The O-ring for it is in that bag. And here is the money shot. Ooh. It's so pretty. It's so clean. I almost don't want to put it in that ugly ass car. But here is a replica of the Holley 302-1 pan. Like a third of the cost of the actual Holley product, and it looks exactly the same. Obviously it doesn't have the Holley logo right here, but it looks exactly the same other than that. And for under $200, I'm 100% happy with this. This was just an eBay pan from China. So, I don't know, I mean, in a new gasket, obviously. But if you want the part number for either of these two things, I'll throw it in the description. Now, we have to wait until this oil is done making a mess in my driveway. And we'll pull the pan, turn the engine over, and I'm keeping the original windage tray. I'm just going to modify it a little bit, because that seems so much easier to me than trying to find the right windage tray for the application. So, and as far as I know, I can still use the dipstick that came with this original oil pan. I haven't seen anything that says otherwise. So this was all I needed to make this fit comfortably in the car. I mean, the stock pan fits, but it hangs like that far below the cross member, and I don't like that. So this pan should, in theory, tuck up nice and give me a little bit more wiggle room, because before, when I put this motor in from mock-up, it like the front of the oil pan was hitting on the cross member at the same time as I was hitting on the bell housing, and this is supposed to give me a little bit more room for activity. So it looks like it's about done draining, so I'm going to pull the oil filter now, and then I'll move the engine, move the tripod around, get rid of the table. We'll flip this engine over and I'll come back. And we're back. So finally got her drained and flipped upside down, and this motor was not maintained very well. I mean, there's no like chunks in the oil or nothing like that, but this shit's crusty as hell, man. Somebody was not very good about changing the oil in this motor. So now we have to pull the pickup tube and the windage tray out. Well, I'm just going to pull the pickup tube for now and then set the oil pan down on here and see where it makes contact, because I think I need to cut this windage tray right either ahead or behind this second bolt right here, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to get this pulled off and then I'll be back. Okay, now we're ready. I'm not going to bother putting the gasket in place. It should can wait. Shit. May not have to modify that windage tray at all. It fits down like it's supposed to and everything. Shit. Now I don't know what to do. I'm guessing that because it fits, it ships. I don't know. Either way, we're going to take this, get some of that cacao oil down in there, looby dooby this O-ring a little bit. Down in there. There we go. Okay. Now, I'm pretty sure this pickup tube is supposed to have 2 bolts on this top side. It did not when I took it apart. That's not very comforting. I mean, I'm sure it's not a big deal, but again, it's just not comforting. There we go. Get that O-ring. Make sure you lube that O-ring, because if you don't, it's not going to seal right and it's going to rip the edges and you're going to have a bad day. It's not going to make oil pressure for shit. It's not going to pick up and flow to the top end of the motor very well, because if that's not sealed, it can't, you know, create the suction that it requires. But let's tighten a few bolts up and see what we can do here. I don't know if you've noticed or not from watching literally any of my other videos, but I don't look up torque specs for shit. The only thing I've ever torqued, well, if I'm rebuilding a motor, like I'm doing rod bearings or something vital, I'll torque it down, but the only thing I torque is lug nuts, man. So, now that's in place, set the jewelry back on there and see what it looks like. Yeah, I'm not gonna have to modify that windage tray at all. I know with the Holley 302, it doesn't have this bow in it, it's just flat, and I'm pretty sure that's why you have to modify the windage tray, because it's flat to like here. But this pan has that nice little arch to it, so I'm not going to modify that windage tray at all. If it's an issue, I'll deal with it later, but as far as I'm concerned right now, I'm not changing anything about that windage tray. I'm just going to pull this back off, put the gasket in, we'll put the bolts in, and we'll rotate this bad Larry back over. So it doesn't say anywhere, you know, engine side, oil pans, whatever. So just stick it. It's gonna need to. Well, this is going to be an adventure. Because during packaging, it shrunk a little bit. So now we're going to have to just put all the bolts in the oil pan all the way around. Well, we'll just do it this way. This is going to be easier than explaining it. Dump out your bag of bolts. Stick your main boys in the back. Okay, and then you just make sure they're the same thread pitch first. Hold on. Don't want to get all this shit done and then just find out they sent me the wrong size bolts, because that's what they did with my headers. The goddamn bolts they sent me with the headers are the wrong size, so I have to use the factory bolts to hold the headers on for now. I'm not going to do them all. I'm just going to do the ones in the important spaces, because I'm just chasing my tail here. But just bend it up into place. Shit. That makes more sense. You gotta be kind of gentle, but you can bend these things into place if you need to. You dirty bastard. Okay. That's all there is to it, boys. Now we'll take this, flip it over, back on that thing. Make sure that's tight. Now, it's just a lot of that shit. Just starting bolts all the way around. So, I'm going to get all my bolts in, and then I'll be back. And again, we're back. Got this all bolted on. Now I got to put on this little block off plate. I'm assuming is what that is. And of course it's a different size bolt, so I gotta go in the garage and get a different goddamn socket. Yeah, about that type, sure. I don't know. Now this one, okay, so far so good. This thing's on, all these are in. This is in, not like all the way as tight as I could get it, but tight enough that I'm comfortable threading an oil filter onto it. Also, I have a broken bolt on the very front of this cylinder that I'm going to have to extract before I can, you know. Now, I don't really know what the hell the company's doing, but this is your factory bolt right here. Here. Right there. That's the bolt they sent me. It's not even close to the same size or thread pitch. So I'm stuck using factory bolts. You know, when they tell you that these things are block huggers, they're not bullshitting. Here, I'll show you. Look at the fit there. They really weren't bullshitting. I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to end up running these. Because, you know, I started right here, and then the bell housing on that 700R4 comes out about this far from this ear right here. So I'm not even sure these are the ones I'm going to go with. But damn, do they look good. Is that broken stud I was telling you guys about? It's not terrible. I'm hoping that it's going to be that easy. If I got to drill that thing out, it might not come out. I might just leave it out. You know, who knows? We'll see what happens when we get there. Alright guys, well, there you have it. That's a 302-1 Holley oil pan installation on a 5.3 and a set of headers. Now I need to decide on an intake, drop this thing in the car for final fit, send the ECM off, but then she should be ready to come to life as far as I know. I know the engine's good. I also have one more thing to do. So I'm keeping the 700R4 that come out of this, that's still in this car, that came with it factory, and these don't line up. And I know I probably should get a new flex plate, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to cut, I'm going to take my little, a rasp, and just walk these bolt holes down. Well, not that aggressively, holy shit. Just down about that far. And then that should be all I need to do to make that torque converter fit this flex plate. I'm hoping. So, thanks for sticking around to the end, guys. I have one hell of a mess that I have to clean up and dump the rest of the oil out of that piece of shit. Don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. Remember, your dreams don't work unless you do. Thanks for watching.